Who started the war on vaping? Well, it may come as no surprise to learn it was the United States of America. U.S. government and public health officials have placed e-cigarettes in the crosshairs, aiming to wipe out vaping in order to win the war on smoking. But vaping isn't smoking, and advocates in the U.S. fear new federal regulations expected to go live this May could put millions of lives in jeopardy. In 2009, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration gained regulatory control over tobacco when President Obama signed into law the new Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act. The law did not cover e-cigarettes and liquid nicotine products because they were just being introduced into the market. But the law did allow the FDA to, at any time in the future, unilaterally deem any product containing nicotine to be considered a tobacco product. In 2014, the FDA did just that, extend its tobacco authority to include vapor products, and then announce harsh new regulations designed to bring the e-cigarette industry to heel. If the proposed regulations are implemented as is later this year, many analysts and stakeholders say the industry would be decimated. And it's not hard to see why. The new rules place a heavy burden on vapor product manufacturers and retailers. For each product offered for sale, a pre-market tobacco application must be made and approved by the FDA. This applies to each different device and model, and for each different e-liquid of varying flavor and strength. Applications must include extensive scientific research, and the entire process could cost millions. These regulations require industry to go beyond just proving its products are safe and to demonstrate that each product has a net benefit to public health. It's an incredible regulatory hurdle, seemingly insurmountable by design. The FDA is providing an exemption, but only for products on the market before February 2007, a devious choice in date since virtually no vaping product on the market today would qualify. Industry reps say 99% of vaping products could be pulled off the market, forcing the closure of thousands of vape shops and crippling the industry. The bitter pill to swallow is that cancer-causing tobacco cigarettes, already on the market today, do not have to meet these regulatory requirements, as cigarettes have gone essentially unchanged for decades. So, vaping products must prove a net health benefit, while cigarettes are free to continue killing. This is why so many view the FDA regulations as the Big Tobacco Protection Act. Pro-vaping groups in the U.S. are fighting back. One of the most well-known is NotBlowingSmoke.org. They have just launched a new national campaign called No More Casualties, featuring U.S. Army veteran Sergeant Brian Roberts. The campaign website provides key facts to combat misleading information about vaping. It also delivers promotional content for activists to use, and it's quickly becoming the go-to platform for thousands of vapers who are declaring they don't want to be a casualty of the war on smoking. Joining us today from San Francisco, California is Stefan Didak, founder and president of Not Blowing Smoke, the nonprofit organization behind NoMoreCasualties.org. Stefan, thanks for joining us. You guys have been in operation now for about a year. What got you started?
I got inside info that the California Department of Public Health was going to launch a, as we would see it, a smear campaign about vaping. I found their website. It was called Still Blowing Smoke. I saw the content and decided, well, if we're going to do something, we have to do it now. And we only have 2 days to do anything. And the domain name Not Blowing Smoke was available. So what I did was create the website in about 38 hours, launched at exactly the same time that Still Blowing Smoke officially launched their website. Except there was this one little detail that they forgot. Within their $7 million budget, they had completely forgotten to get all the social media properties and Twitter handles and Instagram handles. So I registered all those and plastered all our Not Blowing Smoke material on there. It sort of confused people and derailed their campaign, but at the same time, it got all the people to pay attention to the information we would like to have out there.
And pay attention they are. Even up in Canada, people are talking about Not Blowing Smoke. Stefan, why would the California Department of Public Health spend $7 million on a program to smear vaping?
What it all comes down to is money and other big interests who do not like to see their revenue flows threatened. And vaping certainly has threatened those money flows.
How is that?
Well, the more people vape, the fewer people smoke. And the fewer people smoke, the less tax it brings in.
Stefan, we just went over some of the details of the pending FDA regulations and the effort to deem vaping products as tobacco products. What's the impetus behind that?
The reason for that is it creates a pathway towards taxation and it creates a pathway for prohibition. What we've seen, especially the past year, is an extreme drive towards ramming down that tobacco definition, because that's the basis upon they build all the other prohibitions, regulations, taxation, licensing.
So what does the worst look like with the FDA?
The worst would be a total prohibition on advertising, deeming vapor as tobacco products, deeming the devices and accessories as tobacco products, and worst of all, having a total prohibition on flavors that are not tobacco or menthol. Now, whether that is actually part of the final regs, nobody knows at this point, because once the regulations were sent off to the Office of Management and Budget, that's the last time or the original publication of the regs is the last time we saw the version that they wrote. Everything that happened in between, we don't know what's in there.
So while everyone prepares for the worst, you've launched a new public information campaign, No More Casualties. Tell us about that.
The idea behind the campaign, and especially the word casualties, is that our opponents, who are mostly pharma-funded public health groups, they've been locked in an ideological war on smoking. And they have dragged us as vapers and vapor products into that war. We don't belong in that war. We are totally not even related to smoking, even at the scientific level we're not. Unfortunately, all the misleading propaganda that's been put out has got a lot of the public to change their opinion that, oh, vaping must be worse than smoking.
And how is that a danger?
Part of the war on smoking means that you will inevitably have people who are smokers who get scared away from vaping, or you have vapers who get scared back to smoking.
And that goes to the heart of it, doesn't it? If you keep smoking, you could die. And also, smoking threatens more than just the life of the smoker.
Exactly, because let's face it, everybody who's around smokers or everybody who is smoking could end up being a casualty of this war on smoking. The children are going to be just as much casualties, whether they lose their parents to premature death because of a combustible tobacco-related disease, or whether it's other family members. I mean, smoking and the war on smoking does not discriminate.
Well, that's it for this edition of RegWatch. Before you head off, please like us on Facebook and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. For RegulatorWatch.com, I'm Brent Stafford.